I'm Jill Casper with the Bridges Speakers Bureau and Mid-Minnesota Federal Credit Union. And today we're going to do a quick presentation on how to pay for college. Your first step is to get organized. Get your college applications in, know when the deadlines are. What are the schools looking for? Are they looking for certain ACT scores? Are they looking for community involvement, community service? Do you need a letter of recommendation? What needs to be included? Ask your teachers very early for those, because come around May, they're going to have a lot on their plates. Start reaching out, start looking into scholarships. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But go to your school counselor's office. Start looking for what community scholarships are available for you. And really, when we look at financing, the first step I want you to do is fill out your FASFA, your Federal Application for Student Aid. This is going to be your first step in your most reasonable way of paying for college. You'll need your parents to do this. And do this, you can start anywhere after October 1st. You'll need your parents' tax returns and your tax returns. Many schools, it's a first come, first served basis. And the later that you wait, the less money that will be available. And there's also going to be deadlines for grants. We'll talk about grants in a minute. If you don't get your FAFSA in by a certain time, you automatically won't qualify for those grants. So the timing of that FAFSA is very important. And the other thing about the FAFSA, by getting it in early, if there are any problems or issues, you can resolve those a lot sooner than maybe going into college and you haven't got them resolved yet. When you do your FAFSA, you can put into up to 10 schools. So you may have your heart set on one school. I would really suggest you put a few different schools in there to see what kind of packages they bring back to you. You might be surprised where your second choice school may offer you a really great package to go there. Know that you will have to go through the FAFSA process every single year. Do not forget to do it year 2, 3, and 4. I work with a teacher who forgot to do it year 2, and he had to put his year 2 on credit cards because he had no plan and no backup plan for not doing his FAFSA. And then once you get your financial aid letters, you can really make an informed decision about where you want to go. You can actually go back and have them revisit it too. If your school A didn't quite give you the package of your school B, go back to school A and say, hey, can you revisit this? Because here's what I'm getting at a different school. The earlier you go through this process, the more opportunities you have to do those things. So what you see on the screen here, we look at the cost of college in a couple different ways. Number one is the cost of attendance. So often people look at tuition. It's X amount of dollars per year. But we've got room and board, food, insurance, books, transportation, all those other fees. So really, what is that all-inclusive cost of attendance? Once you fill out your FAFSA, they're going to give you what's called an estimated family contribution. What do they believe that your family can pay for that year? It does not matter what school you go to. That estimated family contribution is going to be the same. So your cost of attendance minus your estimated family contribution equals your need. That's what's left over. Where else can we get that money? So here's an example. 2 colleges offer you admission. Jefferson at $20,000, Roosevelt at $40,000. Your estimated family contribution is $9,000. So your need for Jefferson is $11,000 and your need for Roosevelt is $31,000. Now, once you fill out your FAFSA, they're going to offer you different loans and grants. This is an example of a 4-year private and a 4-year public. Cost of attendance, $31,700 and $17,400. Now, if you look at the private, they offered quite $9,000 in work study and loans, whereas the public only offered $5,500. But look at the remaining need out of pocket, $22,000 versus $11,000. There may be schools that offer you bigger packages, but at the end of the day, it's still going to cost you twice as much to attend. So don't get wrapped up too much in the packages. So one of the things that going through the FAFSA process is going to offer you are grants. Grants are your free money. They do not need to be repaid. There's federal grants, based on your financial need, college costs, and your enrollment status. Very important to understand, many of these grants, if you drop below full-time status, you will lose that grant. Then there's some other grants that are campus-based grants that run between $100 and $4,000. My daughter got a $4,000 campus-based grant. We were very excited about it. She did not get it the next year because she was 0.01 GPA away. She didn't realize there's a GPA requirement on there and lost that $4,000. That was really tough. She had to work really hard for the summer to pay that back. Then there's loans. Loans have to be repaid. There's a variety of loans they're going to offer you. Please do your research. The first is your Stafford loans. Some of those Stafford loans you have to pay the interest while you're in school. Some you pay it when you're done. The PLUS loans are ones that your parents can help co-sign for. They're going to be a little bit higher interest rate, but the interest rate will never exceed 9% on those PLUS loans. Federal Perkins loans, those are loans that they're going to offer you on the campus. If you don't get enough to pay and you haven't had any money in savings, then you're going to have to go to private loans. That's going to be probably one of your last resorts, is a private loan. So that would be coming to your financial institution. You're going to pay quite a bit more interest in private loans than you are in your federal loans. Now these loans, you're going to have to start paying back 6 months after you graduate. So that's really important to understand, and understand what you're taking out. I know kids that have taken out loans that they didn't even realize they had taken out. Then they graduate and they have an extra $20,000 they didn't know were there. So as you look at these, really do your research and understand what you're accepting in loans. Another point is that your school will offer you more loans than you need. They're going to offer you more loans than your cost of tuition, because they're going to say, you're right, you need transportation, you need food, you need books. Do not take more than you need. Do not take out any more loans. Do not take out a loan to go on spring break. You will be paying these loans back for probably at least 10 years. It happens a lot. People take out more than they need, and 6 months after they graduate, their student loans are $300 a month more than they thought. So be aware of what you truly need. Do a budget. So there's a couple different themes here we're talking about. The first theme is your free money. Your free money are your grants, right? And you're going to get that through filling out your FASFA, and your scholarships. We're going to discuss scholarships in a minute. And then there's some foundations around. So go to your career counselor, go to your counselor's office and ask about where to start looking for scholarships and what kind of foundations are available to offer you maybe some private grants. Then you've got your cheap money. Okay? Your cheap money is your federal student loans that you can get through your FAFSA. And then after that is your gap. Okay? Once I've exceeded all that, how else do I pay? We talked about private student loans. Your parents could maybe take out a home equity line of credit if they've got equity in their home. One thing I don't want to see you do is put it on credit cards. So we talked about the interest and how expensive they're going to be on a private loan. You're going to be looking at 10 to 20% interest on a credit card if you choose to put that on there. And finally, savings. Work really hard in the summer. Put a lot of money away. Be able to use that money, then you don't have to pay it back, right? There's no interest on that. Start planning ahead with your savings. So we talked a little bit about a budget. Really look at how much do you need. Make a plan of where the money's coming from. Start early. If you're watching this and you're a freshman, good for you. Start planning. The earlier you plan, the more money you can save. Know that if you don't pay your tuition on time, you could be put on probation and or kicked out of school. So you don't want to get behind on those tuition payments. How can we save money going to school? One of the things you can do is, we call it accelerating your degree. So for many colleges, they have a cap of how much you have to charge in credits. So maybe they have a cap of 16 credits. And anything you take over that cap is free. My daughter did this. She took a couple extra classes. Now, they were a little more rigorous. Her semesters were a little more stressful at those times, but she cut a year off of her 4 years of college. She'll graduate in 3 by accelerating her degree and taking advantage of those extra free credits. Maybe take some post-secondary classes at a local community college while you're in high school. Take your AP classes, college in the schools classes. Most of these classes will transfer to schools, and you won't have to pay the cost of those credits. Maybe consider being a transfer student. Spend 2 years at a local community college, live at home, save your money, and transfer all those credits to a 4-year degree. The credit's going to be a lot cheaper, and you're not going to have that full cost of attendance with your room and board. And when you fill out all these forms, we talked about it earlier with the FASFA, go where you're wanted. There's going to be colleges that are going to want you for your skills and your talents. I was doing this presentation at a high school once, and the kid in the front row was very, very smart. And I knew that. And so we were estimating college costs. And his dream his whole life was to go to Notre Dame. And his family's dream was for him to go to Notre Dame. So he pulled up a financial calculator online, and we estimated his student loan payments were going to be $1,200 a month to go to that school. And he sat down in his chair, and it was really a real reality check for him. So he went back and he applied to NDSU. He got a full 4-year ride to NDSU. Now, was it his dream school? No. But he's also not paying $1,200 a month for 10 years, and he got a phenomenal education. So take a look, negotiate, and consider maybe Plan B is okay. There are some degrees that you'll be able to work it off doing community service. Maybe if you're going to medical school and you go to a rural community, that may pay off some of your student loans. If you go and teach in a low-income area, that may pay off some of your student loans. There's a program called VISTA, or the Peace Corps, that can help you with your student loans. Research some of those. Look for those best deal colleges. Just in the state of Minnesota, Bemidji State and Southwest State are really nationally considered for the education that you get and the price, a best deal college. I'm going to go back to the scholarships now. The research shows that you can earn up to $300 per hour by actively applying for scholarships. I sit on numerous scholarship committees, and here are my tips for you. Number 1, if there's an essay question, answer the question. Okay? Don't copy and paste from a different essay. Really consider, what is that question? Follow the rules. If it says 500 words or less, do not have 502. It automatically might kick you out of the system by having 2 extra words. Be creative and make it personal. Make it about you. Tell us who you are. Get your true self out there. And finally, proofread it. Then have somebody else proofread it. Then have somebody else proofread it. I'm on a committee where we each read 120 essays and bring to the table. It's very easy to disregard the ones with really poor grammar and really poor spelling, because that tells us you did not put the time or the energy into that essay. Please, again, talk to your school counselor offices. Many schools have programs where you can go put in your information. Who you are, what you're involved in, what you volunteer for, your GPA, all those things, and it'll automatically match you up for scholarships to apply for. So take the time, take the energy. My daughter got a $500 scholarship to Central Lakes College. It paid for her books for the entire year. It doesn't seem like a lot, but boy, did that $500 help. College can be the most fun of your life. You guys are heading into some of the really, really good times. Just make sure you're not paying for it for the rest of your life. Good luck.
To learn more, visit bridgesconnection.org/speakers.